So this is what we've been playing towards. It's time for the final round, which as always is general knowledge. But I'm afraid those of you who lost your head-to-heads won't be allowed to take part in this round. So Rob from Loiners by Proxy and Daphne, Chris and Pat from the Eggheads, would you leave the studio, please? Lisa, Paul, Steve and Kevin, you're playing to win the Loiners by Proxy, £5,000. CJ and Barry, you're playing for something which money can't buy. It is the Eggheads' reputation. As usual, I'll ask each team 3 questions in turn. This time the questions are all general knowledge and you are allowed to confer. So Loiners by Proxy, the question is, are your 4 brains better than the Eggheads 2? And Loiners by Proxy, would you like to go first or second?
Okay,
Yeah,
first, as we've gone first
we'll
all
go
the time,
first.
yeah?
Best of luck, general knowledge, as I said, and you are allowed to confirm. Which British actress shouted "Oggy, oggy, oggy, oi, oi, oi" on receiving a Best Supporting Actress BAFTA in 2003? Kate Winslet, Keira Knightley or Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Well, Catherine Zeta-Jones is the Welsh one, isn't she?
Yes, she is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Kate Winslet is the Welsh,
No.
is she? And Keira Knightley.
Yeah.
Keira Knightley would have been an embryo in 2003
Yeah,
anyway,
so-
wouldn't she?
I'll go for
it's
Catherine.
got to be Welsh.
Yeah.
It's a Welsh connection. We
Yeah.
think it's the
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Welsh connection. Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Catherine Zeta-Jones. Oggy, 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 oi, oi, oi. It's the right answer, yes, well done. And first question to the Eggheads. A sit-up and beg is an old-fashioned type of what device? Bicycle, washing machine or telephone?
Well, my first thought would be telephone. If you remember those stand-up telephones with the handles on, that rather looks like a dog sitting up and begging. I can't imagine.
I've never heard it for a bicycle.
I can't imagine a bicycle that would actually give that mental image. And a washing machine, well, they're all square boxes, aren't they? Really? They always have
Twin
been.
tubs and things. I mean, you can see it for the shape
Yes.
of the old telephones, can't you? Haven't heard it.
No, I can't think of anything else it could be.
I'll go with it. I'm not particularly happy with it because I don't know it, but I think it's got to be.
Well, we'll go on similarities in shape, and the only one we can come up that comes anywhere close is the old-fashioned telephone. So we'll go for telephone.
Telephone, a sit-up and beg. Telephone? You should see the looks on the faces of your teammates. And indeed, I suspect of our millions of viewers at home, it's something the Eggheads don't. Sit up and beg. An old-fashioned bike. It's a bike.
Never heard of it.
There we are. What a great start. Nothing for the Eggheads there. Those 3 behind you, they are banging their heads against the screen. You should see them.
Well, they shouldn't have lost their rounds then.
No, exactly. Well, you're looking like you're about to lose the money, though, between you. OK, well, this will put you in a 2-0 lead if you get it. What is the meaning of the nickname Botticelli, by which the Renaissance painter Alessandro de Filippi is usually known? Is it little barrels, little buckets, or little brushes? Botticelli.
What's
Yeah.
cherry?
Cherry's the little bit inside.
Yeah. Bottles,
Yeah,
is
I
it
don't
barrels?
Italian at all.
Is it,
Cherry's
Could
a
it be-
little bit.
it does hold the little cherubs, doesn't it? There's lots of little cherubs
Yeah.
and things, so possibly they could be barrel
Painted.
shaped.
Shall I vote on it?
I would go barrels.
We could sit here for the next
Yeah,
half
we
an
could
hour,
do.
couldn't we, really?
Barrels it is.
Yes, we've decided. I wouldn't even say by a process of elimination, but we think barrels is probably the least silliest.
Least silliest. Well, there are many ways of working out correct answers with those choices there, and least silliest is the route you've chosen. And Botticelli translates as little barrels. It's correct.
Yes.
So, Eggheads, you know you need to get this, or you will be losing, and losing on one of your lowest all-time scores. Tangula, home to the highest railway station in the world, is located where? Peru, Tibet, or New Zealand? And we all know what you two are thinking. Why isn't Chris here? Because he lost his head-to-head.
Well,
But
okay,
it's
should
certainly not New Zealand.
we fit New Zealand, first of all?
Tangula.
There is a very high railway in Tibet.
Most of Tibet is about 10,500 feet high.
I know there's one very high railroad. It goes up the very shallow incline of a mountain.
Having been up in the Andes, I don't think there is anything much higher than 9,000 feet in Peru. So I'm more inclined to go for Tibet.
I mean, that was my first instinct. I mean, I'm just wondering if it's just a false memory, but I think I've heard something about there was this railway going up a fairly gentle incline, and it was described as the highest railway in the world. But whether I'm just misremembering that, but just going on the language, the word sounds more Tibetan than Peruvian.
We know it's either Peru or Tibet, but
We hope.
in the end we're going for Tibet, and I'm hoping Chris is not tearing out his remaining hair behind me.
All
Okay.
three of them.
Tibet. Chris, thumbs up.
Peru.
It's not, it's Tibet. So it's just well you didn't have him there. Tibet. Do you know what it is? It shows what 6s and 7s you're at. He would have talked you into Peru. But it may just be a little interlude on the way to your victory, because your fate is in your own hands because of their mess up on the first question. This wins you the money if you give me a correct answer. The Boulevard Ring and Garden Ring are ring roads in which major European city? Moscow, Paris or Berlin? For £5,000.
Well, Paris is the périphérique, isn't it? Has it got another name? Has it got another
Boulevard Ring. Garden. It's French, but it's pretty international, isn't it?
Yeah.
Boulevard Ring. Garden. Well, Berlin has the Tiergarten, doesn't it? That's beside the point. It's of no consequence.
No.
Garden. But think of it.
Does it? Does Paris have more than one?
Yeah.
I've never driven in France.
The
So
Griffith's the big one.
Yeah, périphérique, yeah. I've driven around that, yeah.
Are we just being too...
Trying to read too much
trying to
into
read
it.
too much, and Boulevard would suggest that it's French?
Yes.
Is it?
Garden sounds
Well, it's neither, none of them, is it? Garden.
I was going to have to go for Moscow, but
Well, going on that, would you think that this might not... Moscow perhaps has been more money put into it and built since the fall of the Berlin Wall
Yeah.
or whatever, so therefore they might have adopted foreign names. It's
Well,
rubbish.
any more
that,
Western
isn't it?
names.
I mean, I've been
Well,
to
Western
I've been
names.
to Paris, I've been to Berlin, I've never noticed the term, so...
it's nothing I've ever heard of because I've never driven abroad, so that doesn't help at all. Sorry.
But Moscow seems to be filtering to the top. Then.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Well, we've been through them all.
Several times.
Literally.
Through the mill.
We've all been in and out.
Yeah, we've been on a verbal journey around
round
all
and round
these
several
European
times, haven't we?
cities.
Both of them.
Yeah, and we're plumping for Moscow.
Moscow.
Yeah.
For the Garden Ring and the Boulevard Ring. The answer is Moscow.
Yes.
You've won.
Thank you. What a hoot.
How does that feel?
Fantastic!
believe that.
Fantastic!
That was just almost a perfectly conceived plan, a perfectly executed game. You beat the Eggheads more or less in every head-to-head and in the final round, and you deservedly take the money home. One of our best teams. Thank you very much indeed for playing, and congratulations to the Loiners by proxy, £5,000 richer. Well, join us next time on Eggheads to see if a new team of challengers will be just as successful. Until then, goodbye.